Hey there, everybody. What's happening? A very great Tuesday evening to you. Welcome to Soccer's Overtime, your weekly look inside the San Diego Soccers and the Major Arena Soccer League, coming to you streaming on San Diego Junto Football. Alongside Tony Sanchez, I'm Craig Elsten. Season 7 rolls on into April. It's episode 13. It's Vaquero's final ride. And it's a playoff preview because here we go. El Senor Sanchez, we head into 3 days of eliminations, 6 games, taking us from 8 teams to 2 by the time we hang up our headsets on Sunday night. I'm sure that everyone could hear you, but I couldn't. So I don't know what that's about. Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay. All right. Well, let me do something here. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me go to the speakers. Oh, Keith says you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
We got you? Perfect.
Just got you.
Awesome.
Right now.
Awesome. I'm just so excited for what's coming up this weekend. It just got me speechless. Absolutely speechless.
I was like, is it a me? Is it a you? No, it's a you. Okay, good. I always like that. Okay, here's what's going on the show tonight. And we welcome everybody joining us live. Thank you, everybody in the comments letting us know that you couldn't hear Tony and that you now can hear Tony. Appreciate you. Thanks for keeping us on track. Here's what's going on the show tonight. We've got our 24th regular season recap. It's going to be a super special one. It's going to be theater of the mind because we have no highlights. Thanks, MASL TV. Nonetheless, Soccers close out the season in style and send the Stars packing. We'll bring you the recap of Sunday's action against Tacoma. Of course, that match highlighted by the final ride for Eddie Velez, El Vaquero. And Eddie will join us live at the bottom of the hour. We'll enjoy chatting to Eduardo Velez and talking about what was certainly an emotional night for he and his family and for all the Soccers fans in San Diego. Then, time to turn our attention to the playoffs. We will be joined live by Empire announcer Christian Philly Filliman, along with his better half, Amanda the Panda, for a look ahead to the weekend. Philly will be joining Nick Vassos as one of our 2 English language broadcast teams for the weekend. It'll be Nick and Philly, and it'll be myself and Brian Farber, because Tony Sanchez, you are going to be the Spanish language play-by-play voice for the MASL playoffs in Oceanside, along with the Ontario boys.
It's going to be an absolute fantastic time. If you get me there, we're good to go. Just making sure. And it's going to be a great time up at Front Wave Arena. Yeah, it's okay. Again, the league is coming in, and I think it's messing with the soundboard once again. Every time we summon them is when it comes up. But estoy emocionado en español.
Well, it's great to have everybody here. It's great to have this little tradition that we have built up, now 13 weeks rolling of our 7th season of Soccer's Overtime. And Tony, everything is set now. We have our 8-team bracket. We've got the Shield champions, the Chihuahua Savage, back-to-back champions of the league, but the first time that Chihuahua has won the Shield. Congratulations to the Savage for putting up the best record in the league. I don't hear you again.
They did it in style. They did it once again, being really, really excellent. Just really the shining example of what indoor soccer should be, at least on a mini pitch for sure. But they got it done also against other teams on a regular size pitch, and that's going to be dangerous because they know how to win in anywhere on any floor. And That is except one place, Front Wave Arena. They have not won at Front Wave Arena.
Nope. Let's see if we can keep that rolling on Friday. That'd be great news for St. Louis. All right, let's kill the music, see what happens. Let's get into the game. Like I said, I wish we had highlights. Eddie was texting me this afternoon going, hey, we're, it's 2:30. It's 3:30. I don't see a file up. I don't see anything uploaded. Nothing was uploaded. So MASL TV, look, busy week for the folks at the Major Arena Soccer League. They're getting ready to come out here. A lot of them are going to be on a plane tomorrow, flying out here to Oceanside via Lindbergh Field. So understandable that they might be a little bit late on their overall to-do list. So allow us just to describe. Thank goodness both of us were there, Tony.
Yeah, we'll take it old school, right? These are, if you take a series of these, they become videos. But that's old technology that we don't have anymore. But here's some of the images, still images. Yes. Fantastic crew out there at Front Wave Arena. I can tell you, Childs did something good there, probably.
Right. Well, we begin, of course, the player introductions and emotional introduction for Eduardo Velez. And we'll chat with Eddie here coming up in a little while. But I was down on the floor, as you know, because they asked me to say just a couple of words to introduce him and to set up, the team honoring him with his shadow box jersey that he can hang in the man cave that I'm assuming he's, asking his wife to deliver now. Hey, listen, I need someplace to hang this. But as you can see, coming out with his family, tears streaming down his cheeks. He was really, really worked up at the start of the game. And you can absolutely understand why. Here's a guy who's been playing pro indoor since 2006, had even been playing some pro outdoor before that. And what a great scene to see him with his Shadowbox jersey and, of course, having to wear Cowboy Salazar's sombrero one more time.
And man, like that's what this sport is all about, and this community just coming together, and just one of those monumental players for this franchise and this region that you can tell how much it means to him, how much it meant to his teammates, even, Tacoma knowing on the other side too, being very classy and joining in that guard of honor, just kind of clapping it up for a fantastic player, and a fantastic player that had, something still left in the tank. There were some times in that game where I'm like, okay, here comes the Vaquero. All right, we're gonna get some pistol celebrations here. And he was getting down with it. He was getting fouled, earning it. Just what you love to see from a veteran or just anybody who's there to give it all. And man, you can tell he was having a great time and enjoying it out there.
Sockers come out and stumble a little bit in the first quarter. Couple of mistakes along the way. A loose ball that just kind of was bouncing in the crease that Nick Pereira was able to shield and turn on and fire into the net for a Tacoma goal. Later, just an error, physical error by Cerda, rolling a ball into his own crease, essentially serving as the assist for the Tacoma player to score, to make it a 2-1 match. And that's where it held until the very end of the first quarter, when Sebastian Mendez scored one of the coolest goals of the year. I'm sure it won't be the goal of the year in the Major Arena Soccer League, but one of the coolest goals of the year, as not only does he honor Eddie Velez by scoring in the magic minute, but he does so with a wild little individual move to shake himself loose on the left wall. And then he fires in a half volley to the side netting, which is quickly followed, Tony, by his own shoe, which apparently was loose enough to come off on the volley and was well swung enough to float right over the top of the ball and land in the same spot of the net.
I have never seen that in my years of watching, playing, just something. I just indoor soccer. I've never seen something like that. And to have it go in the exact same spot, the ball was well located, but the shoe had even a just better location. Just it was amazing. It was fantastic.
I mean, truly, as I said on the broadcast, you could do that 1,000 times and not get the shoe in. Like, I think it'd be very, very difficult to intentionally do that. I need you to swing the foot through the ball, lose the shoe on contact, and the ball and the shoe need to land in the same place in the net, one after the other.
I got you, Craig. I just thought of this. Thank you to MASL Monday for having some actual highlights of this game. So there we go. Here's that goal and the shoe going in.
And the shoe. It's so comical to watch. It's like goal, poor Toth down on the knee, and then shoe. Like someone threw a shoe at him. Here it goes. Ball in, ouch. Shoe in, ouch.
What a carambola, as we say in Spanish. That's just the happenstance of that happening is incredible. But it wasn't necessarily that it was untied. It was just like he was caught right there getting fouled, and it probably loosened his shoe, continued the play, and said, I got to take it. Rip. There goes the shoe.
It's absolutely insane. Tying things up 2-2. Moving ahead, thank you, MASL Monday, for some highlights. And this is toward the end of the match, of course. The long balls raining in. Great saves by Danny Waltman in the second half. Waltman was 7 for 7 on saves. Here's the Wallace scorer. Ruggles to Childs in the fourth quarter after a scoreless third to make it 4-2. And then here we go with all the counters. We earlier saw Charlie's half-court goal. There's Costa setting up Gutierrez. Another incredible. This was the 1-2 by Danny. The diving stop and then the kick save. And then here, again, one-handed off the post. And away we go. Shotgun. The long ball's flying. Back-to-back long ball goals. Gutierrez picks up one for San Diego. Costa picks up one for San Diego. 7-2, the final score. I will say, Tony, I expected a little more from Tacoma in this one. They had 100-0 the motivation advantage in the game. They had to get a win. The Sockers didn't have to get anything. But you know what? A crowd of over 5,000 and Eddie Velez on his retirement game, that turns out to be more than enough motivation for the San Diego Sockers, even though the standing points were meaningless.
Yeah, and look, the Sockers definitely came out wanting to play this game and wanting to also realize that they have to get their fitness, chemistry level on point, because starting next week, there's no tomorrow. There's no guarantee that you get to play another game in front of your crowd. This might be the last time you do that here in playoffs, but there was also that sense of them trying to feed the ball to Vaquero and just trying to get him that ball, but still maintaining control of the game at all times. And I think that's where that comes in, where you felt like Tacoma just didn't really have that explosive factor and that immediacy that's needed for, hey, this is your last couple minutes left in the season. Let's go ahead and pick it up. There was no sense of urgency at that point, and I really think that was with the players that they had and just the level of import of this game, knowing going into it, it's in your hands. You have to go ahead and win. It's not going to mean that you will, but this 7-2 is just really reflects a game that just got out of hand, and the Sockers kind of took care of business and just really just smothered Tacoma's hopes and dreams.
Yeah. And it wasn't one of those vintage seasons for Nick Pereira. Nick, in fact, I'm just looking back from 2016 through 2024, a span of 9 seasons. Nick averaged no fewer than 2 points per match. He did dip just under that this year to 1.9, 38 points in 20 games. You saw him playing with a leg wrap at certain points in the year. And I just don't think he was at that top level where we know he can be one of the best players in the league. And then, Juice Cox was held to 8 games this year due to injury. I think losing his speed, making Tyler John kind of the only wing fly player that Tacoma has, that was a hindrance to them. And in the end, the team that relies on 2 beach soccer superstars and kind of a local core of players to bolster it, they usually find themselves in the final playoff spot. This year, they missed the final playoff spot by a point. And it just feels like the lot for Tacoma, unless they can find a way to more deeply invest in the team. Nick's getting older. Chris is still a prime of career keeper. He'll probably have 8 more years, 8 or 9 more years in his prime. But, all things considered, both teams can point at each other a little bit and say, you cost me. Because obviously the Stars can point at San Diego and say, you beat us 4 out of 5 times. All we needed was 2 more points and we're in the playoffs. So dag nabbit schedulers, how dare you? And then San Diego can look to the other side and go, we lost that first game in Tacoma. We lost it in regulation, and we finished 2 points behind Chihuahua for the Shield. So if you turn that one loss into a win, the Sockers win the Shield. The Sockers are the number 1 seed. Corner Sport Arena is way in the back of your mind, instead of looming up here like the sword of Damocles just hanging, waiting for release. So both teams can point at one another, but that's the nature of it. And we talked about it a little bit in the broadcast too, Tony. For Ontario Empire and for Tacoma, I think their biggest professional challenge is the fact that they play on the same coast as San Diego, and they're going to have to play them a lot.
Yeah, and that's the just the rules of engagement at this point, to just knowing that this is the reality that you're going to go ahead and face. Halfway through the season, you had a good budding player in Moises Gonzalez that you then sent to Savage. You lose Stefan Mijatovic in the middle of the season. There's just factors that can be self-inflicted by Tacoma at this point as well. Just those little death by 1,000 paper cuts. But for the Sockers, it was one paper cut that eventually cost them, and it was that Tacoma Stars. And again, we've been talking about it this entire regular season. Each game is so important, so crucial, because if you really look at it, at the end of the day, you could have had the Supporter Shield. That's not what San Diego's going to go ahead and say that was the goal for this season. They want the Ron Newman Cup. So if you're parlaying that you're not going to win that to begin with, okay, fine. Now it's time to prove it. Now it's time to prove to yourself, to your team, to Front Wave Arenas, everybody who's been there every single moment of this San Diego soccer season, that this is what you've been working for, the Ron Newman Cup, to get back to that zenith of Major League Soccer, and be really the focal point. Again, you have everything, the glitz and glamour, the Front Wave Arena. You are it. You are the prettiest girl at the prom. Now let's go ahead and get prom queen. Let's go ahead and get that royal court accolade at the end of the season.
I love it. After we've given our little mini goodbye to the Stars, looking to takeaways from the soccer side, Tony, I think you really just have to start in net. San Diego saw the return of Boris Pardo, who had missed 3 matches. Boris played the first half. The 2 goals allowed, neither one of them you can point to Boris. Both of them were mistakes by the defense. And so I don't think there's a ton of evaluation in terms, like, he looked fine and he wasn't particularly tested in the first half. Then Danny Waltman plays the second half and sees a sterner test as Tacoma turns up the heat down the stretch in that game, goes 7 for 7 on saves, which means he's 27 for 35 on saves over 2 games. Very, very impressive. Looked terrific. Danny looked terrific in the game, and it leaves Phil Salvaggio and Cheeky Luna with some very important and very difficult decision-making here, Tony, for the weekend, because on one level, it should be straightforward. Boris Pardo has been this team's number one for years. He is the team's number one, so he starts. That's it. He starts. That's argument A, and it's the simplest one, and it's the most difficult to refute. But if what was said to me a couple weeks ago is actually true, which was we're going to play the player who's playing best because we want to win. Over the last two games, Danny's performance was exemplary, and would suggest that he deserves time, that you might have something very, very special in what's going on with Danny Waltman, who I need to add, I went down and saw on the field after the match, Tony, on Sunday, and he said to me, he goes, I'm having the time of my life right now.
Yes, he is.
And I'm 43, and it's with this team. Like, this guy was playing pro indoor in 2004. He's won championships in the XSL, in the MISL. He's never won one in the MASL. Maybe this is the year, but he didn't play at all last year. You know, he's 43. He's a gig musician in the Pacific Northwest, right? There's a young Danny. Is he about to do it? Yeah, he's gonna. Here it comes. Here it comes. Oh, I don't think he can do that anymore.
I had to spruce up the halftime interview for Golazo Network a little, so I intertwined some highlights from old Danny.
Oh, I love it.
So
Mike Cepeda appreciates it. Tony, good job. Yeah, so I mean, honestly, I don't know. Then listen, do not leave out the 25-year-old Xavier Snare Williams, who put up the exact same save percentage as Danny Waltman in a small sample size, and therefore had the best save percentage on the Sockers this year. Xavier has played great. He's been put in the fire. I think people should never forget that he had to get thrown into that Kansas City match. And people, you know, at the moment when Boris is coming off and Xavier's coming in, and then Xavier's facing a penalty shot later, I'm sure everyone thought that was a definite win for Kansas City. And the reason the Sockers won that match was Xavier Snare Williams. He won goalkeeper of the week that week. So I look at this as a really, really difficult situation for the coaching staff, because let me throw one last log on the fire before I ask you to bask in its warmth. 41-year-old keeper, 43-year-old keeper. Is there ever a great tactical reason to start a 40-plus keeper twice in a weekend? Or would it be better to spread that wealth? And you know, I don't know that Danny physically could start 2 games in a weekend right now. But what decision? And, you know, Keith makes a great point there in the chat. No, you can only roster 2. You can only roster 2. So the decision must be made before the match Friday. Who is going to be the starter? Who is going to be the backup? And then if you win, you have to make the same choice on Sunday, but it might not be, Tony, the same player.
I think all this goes down to coaching is what I'm to understand, because this is what the big decisions are, right? If you have a team, you can always kind of mess with it, the fluidity of indoor and the adjustments of having, you know what, this player, I need him on there for longer. Yes, I need him because he's feeling it. But the goalkeeping position is very specific, because you need somebody who's on a hot hand, on a streak, that's feeling it. And you can definitely tell that Danny Waltman is in the zone right now. And I think he's feeling the love of everybody who's come up to him and really want this ring for Danny Waltman. And that's not to say that it's going to carry him and it's going to repair just, you know, the youth. It's not a fountain of youth, but it's very important here in playoff situations. The decision of who you're going to go with is going to have to be something that this coaching staff is going to have to wear and going to have to back up at the end of the day, because yes, they can have every excuse that they want. you know what, Boris wasn't 100%. He was going to split time anyways. We're going to give it to Danny, who's been very, very, very good, and, you know, hope for the best and ride the hot hand, split some time. Is that really the best for the chemistry? Well, it's been working the last 2 games. But then you have Xavier, who's spry. He's used to sometimes coming off of playing soccer's 2 games, and he has that youth. He has that bounce back. He has the ability to learn in game and make adjustments. With X, you see it in the beginning of the game. Sometimes he's a little shaky, a little wobbly with his passes, but as soon as he gets warmed up, it's like an old school car. You turn it on, you got to warm it up. We got to wait for a little gauge to go a little bit, and then he's on it. He's on a different level, and especially this season when asked to step up. So I think this is the most difficult decision, one of the most difficult decisions that coaching staff is going to go ahead and do. I do not envy Mr. Salvaggio on this, but if it was up to me, I do think there's intangibles with Danny Waltman that are inexplicable right now. And now, I think you have to go with that.
Here's my guess, as I assume we'll be getting Eddie Velez in here momentarily as well. We're hitting the bottom of the hour. In 2021, Phil Salvaggio and Cheeky Luna were presented with a very similar situation. Not the same, because at that time, Boris was 37, right? 37 on 38, not 40 into 41 now. But in those Ron Newman Cup playoffs in the COVID year, Boris Pardo started every game 1, and William Venzella, who was on loan from Baltimore, started every game 2. And then the one time that it went to a mini game, he started the mini game as well, because he had been the keeper and he was still fresh. This weekend, it's not a 2-game series. It's 2 single elimination games, but I would not be surprised to see Boris start the first game and Danny start the second game. I just wouldn't be surprised to see that. I'd be more surprised to see Danny start the first game, just in that Boris is here. So if Boris is here, he probably, just from legacy, earns that call. And frankly, I wouldn't be shocked to see Xavier be inactive. Just because, you know, next year he's 26 and one of these guys is 44 and the other one's 42. Like, you know, obviously we know where the future is. But the present is probably these guys. And we'll see. We'll see how the coaching staff handles it. But I agree with you. I think it's one of the most important, sticky, and difficult decisions for the coaching staff. And I don't expect them to go half and half. That's something that Boris has told me years in the past he really dislikes, is playing half a game and then giving out half a game. So even saying that, maybe that's exactly what they'll do. Who knows? Who knows? Phil, he's the only one. Phil and Cheeky, they're the ones who know, and we'll find out on Friday. Okay, let's begin our amazing parade of guests on this season 7, episode 13 of Soccer's Overtime. This is a special one. Welcoming a friend that I knew from across the floor in 2010 when he was leading the PASL in scoring with Revolucion Tijuana, then getting to know him in 2010-11 when he was part of a soccer's team that went 16-0 in the PASL, 20-0 in all competitions, and won their 3rd championship and first ever Ron Newman Cup, by the way, because that was the year that it was rebranded. Went on to be the man who created the phrase soccer's magic with his late game and late in quarter heroics along the way. He's a 4-time champion with the San Diego Sockers. And on Sunday, he played his retirement match, El Vaquero's last ride. Here he is to talk about it all. It's Eduardo Velez. What's up, El Vaquero?
How are you guys? Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, look at that. We were just talking about where you were going to convince the wife to be able to hang the shadow box. There it is.
Well, it's not set yet. I'm still battling. I still have a couple talks to go with my wife over this, and probably decide where she decides to put this one.
Hopefully not the back of the closet, my friend. Hopefully somewhere
Hopefully
where we
not.
can see it. All right, well, let's get into it. Let's just start things off really easy. Your feelings now, obviously, it was an emotion-filled night on Sunday. You've got about 40 hours, to be able to kind of process it. So, what are your feelings looking back on Sunday?
Well, like looking back at it, it was just an amazing night. I mean, I cannot call it like anything else. It was just amazing. I was like shocked, and I was like super like sentimental, and I mean it was everything. All the feelings were combined. Like it was just I will say amazing. It was an amazing night. And I will say nothing could have done better.
As we see just you coming out here, and I mean, it did look like a special night, and el respeto de todos los jugadores, everybody who's known you, the fan base, the opposing teams just coming together was so emotional, so good. But I mean, there was still a game to be played, right? Todavía se juega el juego, and you got out there a little bit of messy in the beginning with San Diego, just 2 early mistakes going down 2-1. Were you starting to feel that of like, okay, now me toca a mí, I got to bring him back. I'm still here, part of the team. What was it like for you guys going down 2-1 early?
Well, it was kind of like we were not expecting that. I mean, we've been talking about it in the locker room, and we've been talking about it, like making like just those silly mistakes that that cannot happen during playoffs, right? And this is pretty much the opening for the upcoming weekend. And I mean, Craig probably knows me a little bit more, and I'm always trying to motivate, and I'm always trying to bring everyone back, and I'm always like rooting, and I'm like, let's go, boys, we got this. Like, calm down, nothing's gonna happen. We're gonna move on. And I honestly, in the 14 years that I've been part of this organization, I have never, and I can tell you this, I have never felt like we could lose a game. It doesn't matter the score. I always had that feeling that we were going to come back and we were going to win the game. How? We don't know, but we will always get it done. I would say 90% of the time, right?
Just about, buddy, just about.
Yeah, 90% of the time. I mean, because I mean, the quality of players and the talent that we always have on the roster, it's just unreal. And it's unreal. And the only ones that are like capable of stopping that, it's ourselves. And I always said that. And I'm gonna continue saying that because I mean, we have the most talented roster, not including me, obviously.
Ese es el business. That's the business aspect. Pero cuando empezó el juego, when the emotions started coming in, when you were introduced for the last time, just what was that just moment? Did you take it to yourself? I mean, this is the end here, but just this whole day was very special. But cuando te introducieron el nombre por la última vez,
I just felt it again. It was just that. I mean, knowing that I'm not going to be walking through the goal and seeing my name up on the screen and all that, it kind of hit me a little hard. And I'll be honest with you, it was just different. I was blessed to have my kids with me. I have and I have, well, I mean, kids, I call them kids, but I have 2 grown-up girls. I mean, 21-year-old daughter, 18-year-old daughter, like coming along with me. And obviously my son, which like probably the most sad part about it is for me was like he didn't get to enjoy as much because I went through unfortunate injuries and it was part of the game. But it was just like I was just trying to enjoy, and as soon as they said my name, I was just like feeling it and owning that moment for me, for my kids, and for my family that was on the stands, and just try to be just thankful for that.
Well, I'll tell you, Eddie, we, spent the whole broadcast kind of, talking through your career and talking about what made you a special player. And two things come to mind from that. One was watching you play and then watching Sebastian Mendez come out and run and be aggressive and be on the back of guys and be an irritant and be fast and be clutch. And I said to the audience, I said, if you want to know what the prime of Eddie Velez looked like, watch number 13 over here. Do you see a little of yourself in Sebastian Mendez?
Yes, totally. I mean, that wildness and that like just like pushing and let's go and talking and he has all that. I mean, it is amazing how like the energy that he has and all this that he brings to the table, even though he's such a young player. I mean, he's so talented, right? I mean, he's such a good player. I mean, he brings a lot to the table. He brings a lot to the team, and the good side for the soccer is like I came in when I was 31 years old, 30 years old, and he's 23. So, I mean, it's just a huge difference, right? And he's gonna keep bringing that to the table, and if we like polish that kid like the way like he should be polished and just like shape him up properly, he will be like just a different player. I mean, he already is, right?
The second thing I wanted to bring up was you got one more chance to feel that bump into the small of your back, to see that space between yourself and the board, and to go flying and draw that blue card. Tarjeta azul.
Tarjeta azul. So it was funny. I mean, it was so many times we played against each other, Hansen, Corey Keats, and we kind of know each other. I knew as soon as I received the ball and the ball went into the boards, I kind of like looked over my shoulder and I saw him coming, and that was my time just to like do one little step, and just like as soon as I felt it, I just like pretty much like took the foul. I'm not gonna say that I did anything else. I just took the foul, and that's one of the things, right? That it was I was kind of like good at it. And the other funny part, like speaking about Sebastian, on the way out, Phil, Savvy, Chicky, they all say, watch this man, just taught this kid a lesson. And I'm like, wait, what? And then Sebastian comes up to me like, and he goes, thank you, Papa. I just learned something today. I don't have to be tough all the time. Like there's some times where I can just like loosen up my body a little bit, and that will be great for the team. And I'm like, well, that's one of the things that I could still do, right, for the team. And I mean, I had the opportunity and got it done. Everyone was like kind of talking about it. Even the fans were like, oh my God, Eddie, like we love you. And I kind of went like, we kind of like got a little bit. I was just enjoying the moment, and I was just like trying to do the best possible for the team, and obviously like I mean try to like revive it and leave that again, you know.
Eso se llama en español, in Spanish, it's called tener colmillo. I don't know if there's a term in English for that. It's just being.
That is colmillo. That is, we call it colmilludo.
Exactamente.
Uh-huh. And in English, I mean, you can call it a veteran move, right? It's a veteran move. You know when and where's the right time to do what you have to do to get something for your team.
Yeah, and I mean, el colmillo, más colmillo también. You found yourself in those spots on those empty spaces too. The team was looking for you. Le estaban buscando. They were looking for you the entire game.
They were talking about it, and they were like, all the players came up to me before the game, and he's like, dude, just like go back post. I'm gonna look for you. Go back post. I'm gonna look for you. And I'm like, listen, like I'm just like thankful right now. And I said this to the team and to the players and to all my teammates and to Phil and to Chicky and Renee and everyone. Like, just thank you for letting me finish on the field playing. After the type of surgery and the whole process that I went through, it was a challenge for me just to retire playing. I wanted to retire on the field, and I didn't want to retire because of an injury. That was my whole like push and my whole drive and my whole extra work to make it happen. It was just something that it has always kind of like make me a little different, that I didn't want to give up, and that was my way. That was my only thing. So I was thankful enough just to be on the field. If I scored, that was even better, right? The new arena would have fallen down, and we don't want that either.
Exactly. They waited the whole year to put those nets up. They would have come toppling down.
Exactly. No, we don't want that. I don't want to be part of that.
Well, neither did Empire because or Tacoma, because they knew they were looking to block every single pass.
They did knew. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it was good. I mean, they were trying to get me. They were like, even at the last 3 minutes, like, stay up. And I'm like, no, that's not me. Like, no. And I was trying to come up. They pushed me back on the field. And I was like, dang it. I mean, it was just amazing. It was an amazing night. And I mean, now the team has to move on, and I have to move on too. And I have to enjoy, try to just like help the team. And I mean, any possible way that I can, just to like get the result, which is the championship. And I mean, every year we have a chance to win a championship. So there wouldn't be a better way for me to probably like walk out, right? I think only one player has done it, and I'm not gonna jinx it, but I'm like, I mean, I think, yeah. I mean, I'm just like gonna be trying to do my best to just like help however I can to the team.
Well, you know what, Eddie? Let's leave it right there. I want to let you know, last week on the show, we played kind of our greatest hits. We went for our top 3 Eddie moments. We ranked them as number 3, your final hat trick, that wild game, 21-22 in Baltimore, when you showed up and poured in 3 and pissed off all the Baltimore fans. Number 2, no doubt, this goal that Tony's pulling up right here. This is the one that was the birthplace of soccer magic. People don't remember the context of this, which was that the club had just lost, and the 48-game winning streak had just ended to this Dallas team. This was a giant crowd, about 5,000 people, and you guys were trailing at home, and it looked like you were going to lose 2 in a row. And our brother Zé Roberto scored
the tying game.
Yeah, just seconds left to score, and then Dallas went crazy, and they got a penalty, and the Sockers had this power play to potentially go into overtime. It actually could have gone into overtime, and here we go. Ball to the edge. Medina drops it down.
I get chills every time that I see this. Soccer's magic.
There it is. Soccer's magic there.
Yep.
0.1, right? And the only thing that could even potentially even top that, double overtime. Oh, there he is, your teammate.
I know. Finally, good to have him on my side.
Right? By the way, Taylor Bond was the hidden hero in all of this. I'll never forget it, that he got the win back, and then Brandon just puts 4 guys on the carpet. Sorry about it.
Players on the ground.
Yeah, just body bags everywhere.
There you go.
My favorite is you getting dumped by Pino there.
I know. I don't even know. Like, my back was hurting like for 2 weeks after that. I'm like, bro, I'm like too old for this.
Oh my God.
Amazing.
Hugged by Landon Donovan.
Yeah,
Landon's
what a
final
legend.
win.
Yep.
What an incredible, incredible career you had, my friend. Amazing, amazing. And wrapping it with your 100th MASL match on Sunday. The memories you had, as I said to the crowd, you were a core player of the 2010s Soccers, this modern era. You're one of the core players of this modern era Soccers team. We're hoping to get you one personally for the thumb and get you a 5th Soccers championship over the next few weeks. But my friend, thank you for everything. Thank you for everything. And it's certainly not goodbye. It's only farewell. We will see you soon. We'll see you around the arena. We'll see you in coming years. I know you won't be too far away from this team, but it's been an absolute blessing to have the opportunity to cover your adult career. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Elsten. Thank you. Thank you. I cannot thank you enough, honestly. Like I said on the field, when we saw each other, I mean, a lot of road trips, a lot of memories, a lot of adventures, and it has been amazing. It has been an amazing ride. You be part of it, and honestly, like, I cannot thank enough to the San Diego Soccers for everything they have done for me, like throughout my whole career. My family thanks the San Diego Soccers and the San Diego Soccers fans, and I mean, I wouldn't be here without the San Diego Soccers, to be honest. It has been a huge part of my life.
Buddy, we'll see you. Yeah, we'll see you on Friday. Take care. All the
See you
love.
guys on Friday.
Eddie Velez. Oh, man. El Vaquero.
What a guy. No, una leyenda auténtica aquí, San Diego Soccers. We were talking about Furati. That's where I fell in love with soccer, man. And the indoor sport is just so specific. And both Furati, before it got moved on the other side of the border, like, it's just his name rings loud over there. And it's just great to see just a send-off appropriate of a great like El Vaquero, and to do it on his own, on his terms. Like, that's what I loved about it. Like, it's so important to him to finish playing. And that's, ask any soccer player if like, it's not that dramatic, but it's like, if you had to just pick somewhere to pass on to the afterlife, it would be playing soccer, man. And this is something that is very cool to see Eddie experience with his family. So gracias, and we'll see you out there. Hopefully we do get that thumb covered for him.
Well, with that, let us transition, and we have now put the recap in the rearview mirror. We've put our feature guest in the rearview mirror. We're going to combine our next two normal features, MASL News and Soccers News, into one and make it a playoff preview. It's time to preview the MASL Ron Newman Cup quarterfinals and semifinals. And who better to join us than our dear friend from up LA way? He is Christian Philly Filament. He will be joining Nick Vassos as one of our two English language broadcast teams at Front Wave Arena. And our beloved Philly joining us right here on Soccers Overtime. It's always great to see you, pal. How are you?
I'm good, man. This is it's been a while since I've been on the show with you. I feel like the only thing that we've been doing was the radio show together, but it's nice to be on Soccers Overtime. Hello, Tony. What's going on, buddy?
We're good. I'm gonna need a wardrobe change for to match that shirt you got. It's a fantastic shirt.
Ontario 316. I picked it up during a wrestling event at Toyota Arena, so I had to rock it. Oh yeah, there you go. Got the Stone Cold logo on the back.
Yeah, we got a
same exact one. Might have even been the same tour for all we know.
Oh, at first I thought it read Ontario 321, and you were just referencing last year's record and how far the team had come. But
ouch. That's why I love you, my man. You're quick and witty, and I didn't even think of it that way. That's God. If you ever wanted to create a trolling T-shirt, that would have been the one to do. Ouch.
I mean, they were 316 before they lost the last five.
About that one for the rest of the night. Thank you very much.
I keyed.
Yeah, there's truth behind every joke. You and I both know it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yes. Okay. But with that said, first off, got to chat to you off the air, obviously, earlier. And listen, I would have had you last week on the radio show if I still had a radio show to to talk LASC STFC. But with all of that, it's really exciting. And again, I just want to say it for the fans in case they haven't kind of locked this in. But yourself and Nick Vassos, the voice of Kansas City Comets, are going to get to work together Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You'll have the call for Chihuahua St. Louis. You'll have the call for Kansas City, Milwaukee. And then you'll have one of the two semifinals. We can't say which teams are in it yet because we don't know. But how excited are you to combine with another one of the indoor legends and be part of this run this weekend in Oceanside?
It's funny. I mean, I don't know if the message has gone public yet, but obviously we've already, let the cat out of the bag. I texted him earlier, told him how excited I was to have the opportunity to work with him. I mean, I have a much better relationship, not better, but a deeper relationship with Eric Bergrud. But I say this all the time. Nick and Eric, when we first got on board with broadcasting games in this league, they were the first people to really reach out and kind of walk us through and guide us. So I'll forever be appreciative of those two. And obviously you and I got to work together during that 2021 MASL Cup Finals. So, I mean, I'm excited. You got two different individuals with, different personalities. I already told Nick I'm going to be dressed to the nines in even wilder and louder outfits than I'm normally accustomed and known for wearing, but I'll be rocking neutral colors since we're doing other broadcasts and trying to be impartial. I'm not going to be wearing nothing but purple or stuff like that. But no, I mean, I'm super excited. This is my third time calling something in the postseason in this league. No, I'm stoked, man. I can't wait to get to Friday already. It's just unfortunate that it's only freaking Tuesday.
And really, it's so exciting to have everybody be able to come here and just really, it's been a fantastic season for all things considered. 3-16, that was a great joke, Craig. Again, we need to highlight that one. But it's been a remarkable turnaround this season, and what's been happening over in Empire, because this is a fantastic turnaround from what's been happening in the last couple of years.
Yeah, look, the last time Empire, or then Ontario Fury, was in the postseason was back in 2021. And we've had our challenges. That goes without saying. You so eloquently remarked to last season's record just off of a T-shirt I was wearing for fun. That was the ultimate rebuttal, and I will forever appreciate you and high five you, perhaps buy you around when I see you on Friday. But new coach, new personnel, but old personnel at the same time. I mean, if you go back to last season, there was a lot of challenges. We had Paul Wright, who obviously a legend in the indoor game, a legend with the San Diego Sockers, his first year as a coach in the league. And then you had several players who were making their first attempts at playing in the professional indoor game. So the learning curve was really steep for that side. Then you bring in Marco Fabian, it was just a cacophony, if you will, chaos. That's what I can think of it as. A lot of the results they started putting together towards the end of last season, they made the game somewhat close. But obviously with Onua Obasi, somebody who's been in this league recently, somebody who has the respect of like the players, not to say that anybody else did not, but I mean, Onua's not so far removed from his career. He has these relationships with the Berto Palmers, the Justin Stinsons, and the strategy that he's utilized has produced results. Any way you want to slice or dice it, we went from 3 wins last season to 12, 10-2. And if you look at Empire's record throughout the course of the season, even on the losses, other than 2 games against Chihuahua, they were very competitive in every single game that they competed in. So, yes, it's a live by the sword, die by the sword mentality, but it's worked. And we're in the postseason. This is the first time I get to be in the postseason wearing the color purple. I love Onua Obasi. When he was a player and I was traveling with the team to go down in Chihuahua to call games, while everybody was sleeping on the plane, that man was just in front of me. He's looking at video, cut and film. Like, he's so cerebral and intelligent. And I'm not shocked that he's found ways to do innovative things. I mean, he did what he did at TST. He's doing what he's doing at the Empire Strikers. I call him $1 million man for a multitude of reasons. But it's been fun having him, and it's been fun finally getting to call some dubs underneath the bright lights of Toyota Arena. And look, I'm excited. Finally in the postseason. We got March Madness behind us, perhaps some April atrocities in the next couple of days. Let's go. I'm psyched.
Well, I'll say this as a spoiler that you could absolutely give flowers to Chabo Martinez for picking up right where Giannoni left off last year in Chihuahua. Phil is always right there for putting up the best records in the league. But my coach of the vote Coach of the Year vote is going to go to Anua Obasi because he was a disruptor in the Major Arena Soccer League. You know, he's brought the TST system that he used to get to the $1 million game and win it, and he has adapted it to the indoor game. And while sometimes it's worked perfectly, sometimes it's worked against him, it hasn't been, 100% efficiency, Philly. Nonetheless, it's a spanner in the works, to use kind of a British or Australian phrase. It is something that is unanticipated that coaches have had to adjust to. And I tell you what, even though the series this year is 5-0, San Diego, Ontario, 3 1-goal games that Ontario, I keep saying Ontario, which is a real place that exists in the world. But nonetheless.
So does the Empire, Craig. It's just the word inland normally goes ahead of it, but the Empire is a real place too.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But I mean, Empire 0-5, but 8-goal differential in 5 losses. I mean, that shows you how close this series was.
Yeah. And I said it, every game has been competitive, nail biters. And for how people feel about Empire as a whole, you can't deny the fact that they've been a fun and exciting team to watch. This is a system that has really benefited the likes of Justin Stinson. Stinson just finished his best season in his MASL career. I mean, if Rios didn't score those goals against the Harrisburg Heat in that final game of the season, Justin Stinson's ending the regular season with the most amount of goals. It's benefited him. Marco Fabian's done some things, and then we see how good Obasi is because look at the young players that we've brought in. Munir Alami, he's never played pro indoor before. He's the 3rd leading scorer. The kids look really solid. Bringing in a player of the likes of Tony Delatorre from Kansas City, who only played in 6 games last season. Doing extremely well. You remember Randy Martinez made his debut in that USA-Mexico exhibition game last season. Kind of disappeared under Paul Wright, and then all of a sudden he's got a resurgence. Abdul Mansouré, his best season. So Robert Palmer has the most assists in a regular season that he's had in his entire career. If you look up and down the numbers, so many players are benefiting off of this system. And in addition to that, look at Brian Orozco. Look at Brandon Gomez. These are guys that are scoring goals, exciting, on their feet. I love what's going on here. Would I've appreciated a few less L's? Of course. But it's been an exciting season in one way or another. Yes, I'm with you. Coach of the Year, going from 3 wins to 12 postseason, being a disruptor. Yeah, Anua Obasi gets my unbiased and biased vote.
Man, no, and you mentioned it right now, right? Like it's a system that's very new and nuanced, and there's not a lot of answers, but the Sockers have somehow been able to edge out Strikers this season so far. So what do the Strikers have to do in order to get over that hump against San Diego?
So Vaquero Velez said something that I picked up on while I was waiting in the backstage. The Sockers have a mentality, regardless of whether or not they are up or down, they know that they're going to win the game. That's huge. Mentality over skill is always been the thing. You could be the most talented player, but if you don't believe you're going to win, it doesn't matter. You look at all the greats in any sport. They have a better mentality and a tougher mentality than the average players do. What the Empire needs to do is realize that they need to develop and have that mentality as well. The fear of allowing a goal and allowing a mistake should not rattle them. If they could come in, pedal to the metal, and with that same confidence that y'all exhibit time and time again, that's what I think needs to happen. I mean, sure, we could say maybe don't pull the keeper out in overtime, maybe this, but, the system's worked and it's brought us this far. To me, it's just a mentality thing. If the guys can believe that they can win, that to me is the difference maker because the system seems to work. They just need to believe that they can go out there and fight and not get rattled when things aren't going their way, or if they make a mistake, get caught on a counter and then empty net right there. To me, it's just a matter of just flipping the mentality just a little bit more.
Couldn't agree more. All right, Philly, let's now turn to the rest of the field because as we mentioned, we're going to be covering not just our clubs, but all of the playoff teams in the MASL. And your first game with Nick is Chihuahua St. Louis on Friday afternoon. And for the Savage, I mean, I know this is soccer's overtime, but I feel comfortable in saying this. The playoff is designed to create a new champion this year. It's forcing Chihuahua out of their comfort zone, Corner Sport Arena, for the quarters and the semis.
And to me, the challenge for Chabo Martinez and the Savage is, can you survive the weekend? Because if you don't, everyone will understand. They'll be like, okay, Chihuahua didn't get to play at home. They had to play in San Diego. It didn't work out for them. And they'll feel a little hard done. But if the Savage win 2 games this weekend, Philly, they have home field in the finals. Nobody's even come close to literally no one has come close to beating them at Corner Sport Arena this year. And at that point, I would basically say, in the immortal words of Dennis Green, if you want to crown their asses, crown them, because that's going to be it for me.
I've called games in that arena 3 times in my career, and it can be loud and very imposing. And yes, at home, they're quite incredible, as is your team, 12-0-0. But we talk about how the Savage have a tougher time on the bigger floors. I mean, they still won 8 games on the road. They only lost 4 during the regular season. So are they really that bad on the road? Or did it just so happen that out of the 24 games, maybe they weren't going to go perfect like Monterey did? In fact, I think it's better that they have a couple of blemishes under their record, because we saw what happened with Monterey and Milwaukee last season. You finish off at regular season undefeated, anything could happen, and anything can still very well happen. I was thinking I would prefer, as a fan and an employee of the Empire Strikers, I'd prefer to have had the Savage on the floor front wave as opposed to San Diego, because of the reasons that, we've seen throughout the course of the year. But they're still a very talented team, whether they're in the U.S. or whether they're at Corner Sport Arena in Chihuahua, Mexico. They've got an unbelievably talented team. My favorite player, I got his jersey right here. Pareja, Jorge Rios. That guy is having a career season. A couple years ago, yes, he matched his goal total of 33, but he's got more assists this season. You look at power play goals, he's on that list. Points per game, he's on that list. Game-winning goals, he's on that list. You got him, Hugo Puentes, Escalante. I mean, the tandem of keepers with Reynoso and obviously Cristian Hernandez, who's now in his 3rd season. This is a very talented team. But the St. Louis Ambush team that they're going to run into plays them pretty darn well. Craig, they were very competitive every match. Even if you go back a couple of seasons, the last time St. Louis was in the postseason when they cracked the wild card, they did beat Chihuahua that year, and they've gotten pretty darn close. And with their wave of momentum, winning 5 out of their last 6, I don't think St. Louis is just going to sit and let Chihuahua run all over them. They're in a postseason. I think they're going to give the Savage a run for their money, and that might even be one of the April atrocities here in the postseason, perhaps. But that being said, I do like the Savage in the way they play. They've been a fun team to watch, and I love Pareja. He's a fabulous player.
Yeah, and I mean, both of those clubs definitely turned it around, especially St. Louis, just kind of shedding some weight with King Tayu, but turning over a little bit over to the KC Milwaukee side of things. The Wave and the Comets have renewed their rivalry, this Midwestern rivalry really coming to fruition here. What are your thoughts on what's coming here to Front Wave Arena with these 2 clubs?
Flip that coin, man. I mean, it's going to be an intense battle between these 2 sides. Historically, I mean, pretty close in the MASL era. I think Milwaukee edges Kansas City by 25-22 in terms of wins going back to the inception of the MASL. I could be wrong. I just did my notes last night really late, so my brain might be a little fuzzy, but Kansas City is another team that's really good on the road. I mean, it's a road game for both teams. But, you've got the likes of Frank Tayu and Ian Bennett that seem to coexist. Sanchez, another great player for the Milwaukee Wave. Willie B, an outstanding shot stopper, statistically among the best in this league. And then going up against the Kansas City side that has a lot of players that have been at this stage, that have comfort levels, that can score goals. Rian Marquez, what a year he's been having. I mean, he's what hop step what Zach Reggett did the previous year. Zach Reggett was a Golden Boot winner along with Marco Fabian. To me, this one is probably going to be one of the most incredibly tightly contested matches. Again, it's a coin flip to me as far as who can pull off the W right here. Both teams are so evenly matched up and stacked. I wouldn't know what to bet if I was in Vegas right now. If we could even bet on MASL. One day we will, I hope.
Well, I mean, your mileage may vary on that. But nonetheless, the thing that fascinates me about this is a guy that both you and I know pretty well, Philly, and that's Frank Tayu. Because
El Rey was in St. Louis presiding over a 2-9 start for the Ambush. He got suspended. He and I had a long talk in private. I won't pass along on it, but he had a time in St. Louis. Some stuff happened there. I'm sure they feel a certain kind of way. He feels a certain kind of way. He came back. They mended fences, and the team was playing okay, and he was playing well. And then they trade him to Milwaukee. And both teams take off after the trade. St. Louis goes 7-2. The only reason Milwaukee didn't put up the same kind of record is because in the trade, Frank wasn't allowed to play St. Louis twice in St. Louis, and the Ambush beat him twice. But he basically turned into MVP level, the king, swinging his mighty scepter almost every time he was out there with IB26. And so I kind of feel like they're the sleeper team in this whole thing, because when they've been together and activated, they basically haven't lost.
6 games played, 13 goals, 7 assists, 20 points, 3.3 points per game for Frank Taillou. That was the question, him going to Milwaukee, whether him and Ian Bennett can coexist with one another. And if you saw the game the other day against St. Louis, IB had 4 goals. Frank did it. Frank contributed. You got 2 of the most unbelievably I can't even think of a word that I can say on a family-friendly show here. I'm not going to swear, but 2 of the most ridiculous goal scorers in the history of this game. And they're playing on the same team. If one's having an off night, the other one can essentially pick up the slack. And then they got some young kids like Sanchez there that could also take care of business. Breno Oliveira is having a great year, a breakout year. I mean, his best season even when he was on the Florida Tropics. Ricardo Carvalho, I mean, yes, up and down the board, this is a talented team. If Frank and IB26 start going off hat trick after hat trick, I wouldn't even call them a sleeping giant. They're a giant as is. I mean, this is a team that has an MASL chip. Jules just got recognized. They got his jersey retired, number 21 in the rafters. I mean, he's feeling good about himself. And Milwaukee, just as well as Chihuahua and the Sockers, very, very well positioned to possibly win this year.
And one of the matchups that is also has the eyes of the MASL is Baltimore-Utica. 7th meeting this year between the rivals. Baltimore getting the most out of this. The Utica only winning 1 time this year that they met up together. So this is a matchup, again, it's very different tenor, especially without Kelvin Oliveira for Utica.
Yeah, that sucks for all of us, not just for Utica, because Kelvin was just a fun player to watch. He was must-see TV. Whether you liked UCFC or not, you were tuning in, because what Kelvin was doing in a short period of time is special. Even if you look at his numbers right now, he's still among the top 5 in most of the offensive statistical categories, and he hasn't been in the U.S. in quite some time. But I'm going to say I would give the edge to the Blast. They have the better run of form, 4-1 in their last 5. They've looked really, really solid, but losing the likes of a player like Dieguez is going to really, really hurt them going into the postseason. Just such an unfortunate way for him to end the year. But I would say I would give the edge to Baltimore in this case over Utica City FC, just because of the better run of form, not so much because of the records. It's about mentality. I said it before. Success breeds upon success, and I think the Blast are feeling really confident coming into this postseason. Third seed locked in. I think they're going to take this one.
I tend to agree with you, my friend, but we'll be there for it. And the beautiful thing about single elimination is you just never know. It could be a bad day. It could be a turned ankle. It could be a blue card. It could be a wall of scorer, a bounce that hits a seam. You just never know what could be the difference. But what I do know is that between CBS Sports Golazo Network and MASL TV, the two of us will have it covered, along with Nick Vasos, along with Brian Farber, and nuestros amigos en español, Tony Sanchez, Emor Villa, Jesse Beltran, all doing the job, getting the job done. And then
Julio Ramos and Pablo Morales.
I was just going to say, Julio Ramos, Pablo Morales, they will be. So we've got the A team and the other A team in English, and we got the A team and the other A team, the A team, equipo A y equipo A también in español. So
one thing's for sure, the Calafino will be flowing, fellas.
Yeah, right in that corner lounge, right over there. Philly, we'll see you on Friday. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all.
The great Christian Philly
filament.
Well, I didn't want to push him into a prediction. You can't predict ball. Nothing matters. But this is what the one thing I'm going to say as we head into the wrap up here. The Final Four that I see coming would be a Final Four that would be absolutely delicious. Because the Final Four that I see coming is a San Diego-Baltimore old school reunion in the semifinals. I see San Diego-Baltimore as, going all the way back to 83 to 90 to 91, the times that they've met in the playoffs, the history, the tradition, two owners that absolutely despise one another. The drama will be ramped up to 10 if it's the Sockers and the Blast in one semifinal. And on the other side, I see Chihuahua and Milwaukee. That's what I see. I think KC has just had a poor run of form down the stretch. They've had some unfortunate injuries. And I think Milwaukee is just at a different level with Frank. And then you could have Taiyu, who once made the finals with a Monterrey team, who once made the finals with a Sonora team, who knows how to play against the Mexican style, taking on the Savage. I think that would just be a really worthy test for Chihuahua to beat Milwaukee on a full field with slow grass. And if they do that, if they make their way through, then listen, that third straight championship, they got a garden path to it. But I think those two semifinals would be bangers.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. And I mean, Wave have been very impressive. We saw them here against San Diego, and you can tell there was that Taiyu size hole in that offense, and they definitely filled it. They definitely filled it. You had Sanchez coming in and with his speed and really creating chaos as well, but there was nobody there, a target man to really calm things down. And Taiyu has that experience, and then lessen the load for Ian Bennett, give him a little bit more space. You have a dangerous side, and again, single elimination, a good game by a goalkeeper can definitely put any of these games on their head. William Banahene, one of the best in the league. If he's on form too, it's going to be very interesting to see how far Milwaukee can go on here.
Really fun stuff. That's where we line up. And so just to kind of wrap up the bare bones of this, right? So games 4 p.m., 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, Friday, Saturday. Friday, Chihuahua, St. Louis starts it at 4, then 7:30, San Diego, Empire. Saturday, Utica, Baltimore gets it started at 4, Kansas City, Milwaukee, 7:30 p.m., the nightcap. Sunday, the times change. First game will be 2 o'clock. Second game will be 5:30. So, and that's just winners. And the way it works is that they reseed after. It's not a bracket. They reseed after the first round. So if St. Louis upset Chihuahua, San Diego would know that if they won, they would play St. Louis in the second round, because that would be the lowest remaining seed by definition, would be the 8th seed. So the only way we'll know San Diego's opponent is if they win and St. Louis upsets Chihuahua. Then we'll know. Otherwise, you're going to be waiting to see what happens in the Saturday games to officially determine who goes where. But with that said, those are the setups. It's going to be super exciting. FrontWaveArena.com. Tony was just showing it on the screen. Single-day passes available. 3-day passes available. If you're just looking for the Sockers would play the 7:30 p.m. game Friday, and if they win, they'd play the 5:30 p.m. game on Sunday. So they would play the second game Friday and Sunday. So that's the setup, the broadcast setup. Both of the Friday quarterfinals will be on CBS Sports Golazo Network. Saturday, the first game, Utica, Baltimore, will be on MASL TV. The late game, KC Milwaukee, will be on Golazo. same situation Sunday. The first semifinal will be on MASL TV. The second semifinal will be on Golazo. Similarly, Tony, 3 of the matches will be carried on Canela.tv, Spanish language, and the other 3 will be carried on MASL TV on YouTube. So check your local listings. I think it hopscotches a little bit. I think it's Canela night, day, night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But regardless, that's the setup. I'm looking forward to going back and hearing you anymore and hearing you and our dear friend from both Loyal and Wave over the years, Jesse Beltran. It's going to be a really, really fun weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolute honor to really be able to take this and represent the Spanish language, the soccers in our own way here in our home at Front Wave Arena. And I can't be more excited to see some really, really good play at the end of the day.
So with that, that's what's coming up. Did I say it right here? I've got it written down. Canela has the 4 p.m. game Friday and Saturday, the 7:30 p.m. game on Sunday. There it is. So your broadcasts will be on MASL, Canela.
Yes. Okay. Easier
Friday,
to find on
MASL.
YouTube.
Yeah. And Angus, thank you for bringing this up. We got to talk about Soccer's Overtime next week. Here's a little just inside, behind the curtain, Craig fun fact, which is that back in July, a trip idea was formed that when the MLB schedule came out, it became finalized, which was that I was going to go to Sacramento if it was early in the season to see the Padres play the Athletics in that minor league ballpark, because come the summer, it'll be like 125 degrees in Sacramento and it'll be uninhabitable space. But in April, it's quite lovely in our state's capital. So I am going to be in Sacramento Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon at the Athletics Padres games. So Soccer's Overtime, by definition, cannot be next Tuesday at 6 p.m. because I will be in Sutter Health Park in West Sacramento, California at that time. I don't know if we can kick it to Thursday, maybe.
I think we'd be okay with Thursday only because, again, I think I've mentioned this a couple times on here. The finals just happened to land on my girlfriend's birthday on the 6th. So we promised, hey, I'll make it up for Disneyland California Adventure the next 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
So there you go. Thursday sounds like, looking, Angus, like next Thursday for what is either, we hope not, the season finale of Soccer's Overtime or the finals preview edition of Soccer's Overtime. All San Diego has to do is just hold on to the thing they've done all year, which is win at Front Wave Arena, and they will make the finals. And then the question is, do they have the opportunity to just continue doing that, win twice at Front Wave Arena and be the champions, or do they have to go win in Mexico? So, to be determined, but it should be a lot of fun. So yeah, let's all pencil it in for Thursday at 6 next week instead of Tuesday at 6 for Soccer's Overtime. And I'm just going to be living out of a suitcase for a week, Tony, because, as you know, we're going up and staying up in Carlsbad for the playoffs. And then I get to come back home here for one evening. And then the next day I'm out to Sacramento for 3 days. So it's going to be a whirlwind, super, super fun week. And I hope all I see is San Diego wins. That's all I want to see.
I'm there with you. I think, yeah, no. What size suitcase are you getting? Because, yeah, I got that. I got Disneyland, then come back, and I'm going to WrestleMania the week after. Like, it's going to be it's like a reverse Make-A-Wish for me. Like, okay, I'm okay with it.
I'll just say it'll be a complete repack for me. And I'll pack much heavier for Oceanside because I got to bring 3 suits for 3 broadcasts. I'll be packing light to go to Sacramento because, checking bags is not only expensive, but it's one of the great anxiety creators in my life. That wait to see if it comes down the silver ramp.
The whole time I'm like, I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to see it. I'm never going to see it again. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. So I never check bags anymore just for that reason. Like, I just hate it. But anyways, that's a view inside my mind. And with that, we bring an end to this edition of Soccer's Overtime. Season 7, Episode 13, Vaquero's Final Ride, Playoff Preview. It's all done and dusted. Can't wait to share 6 elimination games with you guys over the next 3 days. It's going to be so much fun. Hope to see everybody out at Front Wave Arena. Got to give the Soccer's front office credit for their crowds. 3,372 average attendance this year. That was literally more than double their final season at Pechanga Arena. It was 1,587 in 23-24. 3372 in 24-25. So big kudos to the Front Wave Arena staff. Hope to see big crowds out Friday night and Sunday as well. For Eduardo El Vaquero Velez, Christian Philly Philemon, and El Senor Tony Sanchez, I'm Craig Elsten. Thank you for making us part of your Tuesday night. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you Friday in Galazo. Until then, go Sockers!